Hello, Three Things with Ian, February 20th, episode 51. Let's dive in. Let's just get to it, guys. Some more sports. Yay, for those who like sports. Let's talk about Ronaldo v. Messi. Okay? I'm not going to necessarily say who's better, but let's have a conversation about why this rivalry is so unique and so special. And of course, soccer is the greatest sport ever, and so we're going to get into it. We're also going to talk about another podcast recommendation that I particularly like. And we're going to finish with another sports topic. I'm feeling very sportsy, as you can see today. We're going to talk about why the Four Nation Hockey Tournament is so unique and why we are so unfortunate. It's so unfortunate that we don't have more opportunities to have a truly international competition, say the Olympics. All right, let's jump in. My first story, we'll start off a little, not slow, but let's talk about podcasts. My recommendation today, the one I want to share with you all, is How I Built This by Guy Raz. Guy, G-U-I-R-A-Z, Guy Raz. This is on Wondery. I believe this maybe initially was an NPR thing. Maybe it was a spinoff. This is based on the title. You can imagine this is about entrepreneurs. This features, I would say, long-form interviews, maybe 60 to 90 minutes. It talks about entrepreneurs and their brands. It explores innovation, leadership, and creativity. Guy Raz asks really good questions from really smart people and gets really good answers, generally. He really talks a lot about how they navigate challenges, luck versus skill, just how they built their brands, how they face failure, how they push through doubt and setbacks. This is not one that I always have in heavy rotation, but it's always on. I always look and see who's on, and if it's a company that I have any interest in, or I have any sort of affiliation with, or I like the products, I always do these. They interviewed the founder of Fanatics, which to some is going to be the harbinger of death for sports, and for others it's going to be a great new company. They do jerseys, they're doing playing cards, they've sort of bought out the competition. And so there's a lot of episodes. They do like some short ones. Some are behind, not a paywall per se, but like a wait wall. And so that can be kind of frustrating. But How I Built This by Guy Raz is a really good podcast. I would say it's one I listen to quite a bit. Okay, number 2. I want to talk about Ronaldo and Messi. I don't want to talk about necessarily who's better, although I will get into that. I want to kind of just spend a few minutes with you appreciating how lucky and how special this kind of rivalry is. It's very rare you get two athletes in the prime of their careers who regularly faced each other and who were generally good humans about it. This is not a rivalry that is it's not really a rivalry even for these two guys. They're just out there doing their thing, right? I think the whole conversation about who's the GOAT, who's better, that's really us. That's really us broadcasting our beliefs and views upon these two people who are just out there playing a game. But I do think it's special that we have this because Federer and Nadal is the matchup that comes to my mind the quickest, where we had the two best players at the top of their game regularly playing each other and having competitive, good matches. They were in the championships and they were finals, and they had lasting impact. Messi and Ronaldo, obviously Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, Argentinian and Portuguese player. They faced off for about 9 years in the prime of their leagues during La Liga, Barcelona, Real Madrid. So they actually were on the pitch together quite a bit. By stats, trophies, and artistry, these are the two best players of our generation, my generation. There's a lot of excellent players around them, but these two have sort of broken through that ceiling and are kind of alone up on the pedestal. They dominated the Ballon d'Or, which is given to the best player. Goal scoring records, what they meant to their countries. These are probably the most recognizable individuals in their countries. They're a big deal. Argentina and Portugal, these are the guys, and forever will be. When they both hang up their cleats, their legacy will continue only just to grow and just to continue to escalate. Soccer pundits are famous for over hyperbolizing things, but incredible, ridiculous, remarkable, those are words that are commonly thrown around when these guys play, and I don't think that they overstep. So basically, I mean, they're two of the most decorated players ever. They won 77 official trophies. They've broken the 50 goal barrier regularly during the regular season. So in terms of goal scoring, they're your Wayne Gretzky. They're your Michael Jordan. They're the ones that are always goals aren't the only thing in soccer. I mean, Messi is rare because he actually can marry the passing and the shooting. He's got a ridiculous shot and a ridiculous deft pass, and that's rare. Ronaldo is a little more physical, a little more physicality, maybe a little less stylish, a little less graceful, but his results are phenomenal. These two players elevate everybody else around them, and that, guys, is the real mark of greatness. I mean, I still watched a clip of Messi playing in like an exhibition, and whenever he touched the ball, everyone stood up. And like he touched the ball in the middle of the field where he wasn't going to do anything crazy particularly, but it's just like it's must-watch TV whenever these guys are on the pitch. Only two players to score 800 career goals. I mean, longevity. Soccer even at the high school level is an incredibly physical sport. I always say this, everybody's fast, everybody's strong, everybody wants the ball. Everybody tackles studs up. I mean, just the amount of wear and tear on their bodies. We are so blessed that they didn't have career-ending injuries in their early 30s, late 20s. Regardless of who you prefer, I mean, these guys outperform their peers by a significant margin. And they have excellent peers. Soccer is a global game. Soccer is the only sport played on. Every nation fields a soccer team. Whether you're San Marino, whether you're Brazil, whether you're Canada, whether you're Norway. I mean, literally, there are two sports that resonate globally. And one is soccer, and the other, guys, is cricket, because of the fact that for a long time, England, essentially, Imperial England owned the world. And they brought with them tea and cricket. What's crazy is we are also at the end of an era. So I've been able to watch Messi and Ronaldo kind of throughout the peak of their career. September 2024, neither one of them were nominated among the 30 best players for the Ballon d'Or. So end of an era, right? These guys dominated what you guys would know as the MVP, most valuable player. I have tons of stats, but really just like these guys, it's hard to transcend the sport. But these guys are soccer players, but they're more than that, right? Their cultural impact, Instagram, Twitter. I think Ronaldo started a YouTube channel and like instantly became like a Mr. Beast level. I mean, and I think that, I'm going to put air quotes on this. I think they're generally considered reasonably good humans. I'm very fearful that I'm wrong on that, but I do think that as far as I know, in terms of running the gamut of terrible person to a saint, I think that they are more on the saintly side. So anyway, I think instead of saying who's better, people should say who their preference is, who they prefer to watch, who they resonate more with, who they want to mimic. And for me, that's Messi, just because he is still pass first, finding windows, finding avenues to sneak those balls through just insanely tight corridors on the pitch. But this is special. And obviously they came of age when soccer became even more global. As somebody that is around young adults, children, I see what they're wearing, and I see it's not the basketball and the football jerseys. It's the Messi, Mbappe, Neymar, Ronaldo, Lewandowski, De Bruyne. I mean, I am biased, I think, and soccer is the greatest thing that we can do as a sporting world, but it's really fun to see that, instead of there are still jerseys for basketball and football, but they are outnumbered by soccer, which is fantastic. My last thing, and I did a whole book thing, and I'm doing a whole sports thing. I did a podcast thing, I guess, is let's talk a little bit about the Four Nations hockey tournament going on right now. This is between Sweden, Finland, USA, Canada. As far as I know, this is exhibition-esque in terms of the stakes are fairly low. You wouldn't know by watching this, by the way. We talked about the Pro Bowl, where I think smartly so, they went to a flag football model to just decrease the amount of wear and tear in the body. You could also look at it like, okay, they're just packing it in. This is like a marshmallow league. But Here you have hockey players who are fighting. And I know there's political ramifications. I know the Four Nations hockey thing with what's going on globally. There's the national anthem booing. There's a lot involved, but there's also really good hockey, and it's just basically an exhibition. But what I want to dwell on with you guys a little bit is the fact that this is uniquely interesting, and I wish other sports could do this. Hockey is a great example of a sport where America is not the best at it. We field competitive teams. There are many more American-born players. There are a lot of them, but Europe and Canada are also huge hockey nations. So this is great for like facing off against each other, right? Because you can have these really great rosters. Basketball, you can field a international team, an American team, and you can vie 1v1, but there's not enough depth. Although the Olympics is teaching me that may not be 100% true, but in terms of like a Four Nations basketball, I mean, America, Germany, Argentina, sometimes like a Croatia or Slovakia gets really good, but it's hard to have the depth that the U.S. has. And then for like football's a terrible example of a global sport because only America plays football. There was an NFL Europe League. There might be again. They play games in Europe. They have fans everywhere. But in terms of like a Nations Cup, you can't do this. The other example where this works phenomenally is rugby, which is probably also on the pantheon of sports, also because of British imperialism. You can do, Fiji and American Samoa. They can field competitive teams that are as deep as America, right? Because their best athletes are playing that. When it comes down to sporting events, it's really where are your best athletes? Because the individuals who have the body and the size and the wherewithal, where are they being trained? That's what's happening here. So what's great for American soccer is we are getting the best athletes who are choosing soccer over other sports, and that's fantastic for the growth of the sport. But anyway, I digress. I wish that we could do more fun global tournaments without it being the Olympics. But for most sports, this doesn't work as well. I know there's a baseball version where they play other countries. I know that you have Japan and Cuba. Those work pretty well. But for some reason, hockey is just really well suited because there's you can do a 16-team tournament. Estonia, Finland can field a team, right? These are just hockey countries. Anyway, I think it's interesting. The championship is Thursday, February 21st, I believe, in Boston. We're playing Canada. Stakes are high for a lot of reasons. Like I said, I don't want to necessarily dwell into the politics of this. I'm not really for booing anybody, regardless of how you might feel. Anyway, I'm going to leave you guys at that. So we talked about Ronaldo, Messi, just how blessed we are, how unique that is when you have the two best of all time, basically, playing in the same window of time, right? We're not seeing Michael Jordan play LeBron right now. I wish we did, but grandfather time has made that impossible. And then lastly, the Four Nations hockey. I wish we could do more of that. I think that is good for all of us. I will see you tomorrow, and be well.